explosive eruption at the summit of Kilauea. Lava is not the only dangerous thing coming from the fissures. Poisonous gases spew into the air. Mileka Lincoln is live with the latest on that. And police charge a man for burglaries at evacuated homes. How he was caught by one of the residents. Those stories coming up. First, though, Dan, did we mention
it's an Aloha
Friday?
Yeah, we like Fridays. Take a look outside. It's pretty clear. Now, do you see the fogginess? Do you see some fuzziness? Yeah, there's fog. There's definitely fog, and there's probably going to be more as the day goes on. We do expect the trade winds to come back tomorrow, though, so we're hoping it won't get too bad or too thick. But if you've got respiratory issues, maybe you've had asthma or some allergy, you're going to want to make sure to stay in the AC as much as you can through today and tonight. Drink plenty of fluids as the fog is moving up from the Big Island to the smaller islands. But we do have the trade winds, as I mentioned, in the forecast for tomorrow, and they should scrub our skies clean of the fogginess by midday Saturday. Even stronger winds coming on Sunday out of the east-northeast. 74 degrees right now, but that dew point is climbing. It's going to be a pretty sticky, muggy day as well as foggy, so be prepared for that. Across the state, we're among the warmest at 74. 75 degrees in Kilauea. Nobody's left in the 60s, but it's pretty cool at 71 in Lihue, Kauai. There's your Friday forecast. Some showers we had earlier. It's now starting to clear up, and then we'll see perhaps showers in the afternoon from the convective heating. It's going to be a warm one today, 85, and feel even warmer. Let's check on the traffic. Here's Lacey.
Well, Dan, we're improving out to the west side. We've already got light movement on the H1 up in central Oahu, even out of Ewa Beach. Now, where we've got the volume is in town. Wanalua Freeway through the flats, the viaduct just before the Middle Street Tunnel. And you can see that red up on the H1. It's going to start from Middle Street and extend out to Wanalua Freeway through the flats. So if you're traveling in on the viaduct you may want to stay with Middle Street Highway or and you can see that red up on the H1. To the east side, traffic just heavy fronting UH Manoa. We've already cleared out. So if you're traveling in on the viaduct you may want to stay on the Ole Highway. Across the Ko'olau, light movement on the Like and H3, but Pali slow from Waukanaka. That's your traffic. Back to Steve.
Thanks, guys. 7:32, Hawaii Volcano's National Park is closed today over concerns that enormous rocks could be blasted out of the summit of Kilauea. Scientists say the lava lake has already been falling steadily, and if it reaches the level of the groundwater, that could trigger a tremendous steam explosion, shooting rocks weighing several tons about a half a mile from the crater. Now, depending on the size of the blast, smaller rocks could travel a couple of miles, and ash could fall as far away as Hilo. The USGS says that there would be little, if any, warning if a steam explosion did happen.
The air is going to be full of debris. It's going to be raining down on people. We do not want people to get injured or have a rock fall on their head or a multitude of rocks fall on them.
According to the USGS, the lava lake continues to drop, and there were more rock falls yesterday, which created several small ash clouds. Now, new video just into our newsroom this morning gives you a good idea of just how hot it gets at those fissures. This was taken yesterday on Nohea Street. Don't forget, all those fumes are toxic. The man who captured these images says that a scientist told him sulfur dioxide levels coming out of that fissure were the highest since the eruption began just last week. The poisonous gas is just one of the reasons residents in Puna are concerned. Mileka Lincoln reports on the current conditions. Morning, Mileka.
Aloha, good morning, Steve. Yes, the situation here changes so quickly, and what they're really hoping is that the winds don't shift as well and create more of a problem, given all of that sulfur dioxide that you talked about. Now, I got a chance to chat with Dan Cook earlier this morning, and he says that those fog-heavy conditions that have created a lot of headaches and discomfort for folks who are here living along the lower east rift zone of Kilauea volcano, especially in the Pahoa, Leilani Estates, Lanipuna Gardens, Kalapana, Kaimu, Black Sands areas, they have really been experiencing an increase in SO2 in the air. And while the impact of that varies from one individual to another, the warning is for those who experience any kind of respiratory difficulties, asthma, emphysema, even just allergies, that they need to take precautionary measures today and plan accordingly. In fact, because of those rising SO2 levels yesterday, Hawaii National Guard actually pulled their their troops from patrolling within Leilani Estates. They had to end that evacuation re-access entry that they were providing to residents there of Leilani Estates early yesterday because of extremely dangerously high SO2 levels. Now, we are told that that has dropped back down in the area, which is why they have allowed those residents to return again today, again, weather and conditions permitting, until 6 p.m. But keep that in mind, because it also caused students to have to shelter in place, is what they refer to it, within the Pahoa cafeteria at the high school and elementary campuses yesterday because of concerns about having them out on the playground and within the school field yard area because of SO2 levels. Those same levels have been the reason why Lenni Puna Gardens residents have been unable to return to their homes ever since the eruption happened last Thursday. And again, the message here is that while those fog conditions might not be extreme or even really felt by people up the island chain, they're very localized here despite the lack of activity at Halema'uma'u crater. The increase of activity at those 15 fissures, which again, not currently experiencing any spattering or sputtering of molten lava, but still producing a lot of that noxious gas. Something for folks to be aware of. Chief?
All right. Thank you, Mileka. 7:36. Hawaii Island police have charged Alexandru Stingu Dragomir with 4 burglaries in Leilani Estates, which residents were evacuated. Now, we spoke to the man who allegedly caught Dragomir in the act.
So we approached the house, got through the gate, and we found a looter ransacking his house. It was a scary situation. Yeah, when you're in the lava zone and you're already dealing with your emotions about losing your house, and then to find someone violating your premises, it was pretty bad.
Will Devine and his friend apprehended Dragomir and drove him to a police checkpoint. Right now, an emergency statute is in effect for Leilani Estates. So the 4 felony counts against Dragomir carry enhanced penalties of up to 70 years in prison. 7:37 right now. Retired auto dealer Mike McKenna has died. Howard's got our biz.
Yeah, good morning. Mike McKenna owned Windward Ford until selling it to a mainland company about 4 years ago. A Marine who served in Korea, McKenna was in his early 80s and in ill health. We all remember his commercials with a golden retriever called Hana Girl. That really was his dog. Jenny Pressler retires at the end of the month as State Health Director. She's a former executive with Hawaii Pacific Health. Her interim successor will be Bruce Anderson, whose long resume and health and environmental post includes a previous tenure at the health department. The Workforce Career Fair is Wednesday of next week. They already have 320 different enterprises that will be hiring. Pearl Harbor alone has 168 openings. A noodle restaurant, Suro Tontan, will open this summer at Royal Hawaiian Center, and it has nearly 100 openings. A job fair will be held tomorrow, noon to 5, Level 3, Building B. And on Wall Street, the Dow has given back most of its gains this morning. It's currently up a little over 20 points.
And Howard.
It's Friday.
Oh, yes, it is. Hey, coming up next, Billy's going to compare what's going on Hawaii Island right now to back in 1955. Some strong similarities we'll show you with some pictures. Hey, Lisa.
Good morning, Steve. We've got a major traffic alert for drivers between Mililani and Waipi'o starting at 9 o'clock tonight. Kamehameha Highway will be shut down in both directions between Ka'uka Boulevard and Lani Kuhana Avenue all the way through Monday morning, 5 a.m.
watching Hawaii News Now Sunrise. And now, weather and traffic every 10 minutes.
7:40, we're improving in town. Moanalua Freeway no longer backed up. Even the airport viaduct is clear until you get to the Middle Street merge. It's slow going there and extending out to Pu'u. If you're traveling in on the airport viaduct, you may just want to stay with either Nimitz or even Dillingham Boulevard. Both routes moving at a light pace. Now checking in on your east side commute, better through Kaimuki. We're already improving, also fronting UH Manoa. So no major slowdowns from Hawaii Kai. It's about a 31-minute drive to downtown Honolulu. Back out to the west side, easy going through the merge. If you're just waking up in central Oahu or even in Ewa Beach, all routes to get to the freeway moving up to speed. That's the latest on your traffic. Let's check on your weather now with Dan.
Yeah, let's start with this great aerial drone video that Anthony sent to us. He has got a website called 8tortphotography.com to check out his work. But he sends us a lot of photos almost on a daily basis that we share during the weather segments. But this aerial of Sharks Cove out on the North Shore is spectacular. A perspective that you don't normally see of that area. This, I think, guys, at the very top of the screen, that's probably the tide pools, right? And then this is the ocean coming up against that line of rocks that so many people, during big wave situations, get caught on, right?
Let's listen in. Oh, no, we don't.
Yeah, we can't.
How far up must the drone be?
It's got to be high. You've got the different little coves where it's coming in. Now that's Craig helping us out. It's not actual sound, but it looks like jellyfish almost, doesn't it?
Yeah,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
This is the sort of thing you could put like on your desktop.
Yeah.
Just and have it there all the time.
That's very soothing.
And then try to get work done. Yeah, that'd be difficult. Be in the zone. There's the first system of our hurricane season. I know it doesn't officially start until June 1, but in real life, there it is. It's Tropical Depression 1E, meaning it's the first in the East Pacific this season. It's not that strong and probably not going to last that long. It is 1,820 miles east of Hilo, but we're watching it closely. It's a good reminder to get ready for hurricane season. Billy, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dan. 7:43 right now. As we mentioned, the closest comparison to our current eruption is the one that happened in 1955. In that one, 24 fissures broke ground. The event lasted 3 months. Nearly 4,000 acres were covered in lava. Lava destroyed homes, roads, and cane fields before it reached the ocean. We thought this was pretty interesting. We wanted to share this with you. Dave Prager sent these photos to our newsroom. It was his dad that took pictures of the 1955 eruption. He was a chief petty officer in the Navy. The aerial image was taken from his squadron's plane. And Emily Rhodes sent this picture to us. It shows lava with a side-by-side comparison of this artwork by Hawaiian artist Herb Kane. Rhodes said it looks a lot like the Hawaiian goddess Pele. Just share your photos with us. You can send them to us. That's at news@hawaiinewsnow.com or post them to social media using the hashtag HNN on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. But always remember, if you're going out there to take pictures or video, be careful and make sure you're not in areas that you're not supposed to be.
So back in 1955, you said that they had the fissures kind of similar to what we had, right? Now,
yes. As a matter of fact, they had more of them back at that time. They had 24 of them.
Oh, wow.
Over 3 months, though, so. Yeah, the path on a map looks so similar, it's kind of concerning.
Yeah.
But it's also good because then we can kind of forecast to kind of see where things might happen, how the lava tubes, of course, the lava tubes may have changed over time, so that could change.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All of the photos on social media have been incredible. All the similarities, the one you just showed, you can see her face. A lot of them are profile views. It's pretty cool, though. People have been sending in.
Right. Thanks, Billy.
Thank you.
7:45, going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
You're watching Hawaii News Now Sunrise.
7:47 right now, no doubt about it. The Rockets are hungry. They want this. James Harden and Chris Paul, all-stars, they've combined 20 years before this with no rings. But as they get set to face the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, Warriors coach Steve Kerr says, "We're hungrier." Now, Kerr said, quote, "Our guys have rings. That's a good position to be in. To me, the hardest championship is the first one because you don't know if you can do it." Now, remember, the Rockets built this team specifically to beat the Warriors. Their GM said back in December, it's, quote, "the only thing we think about." We'll see how it plays out. First game coming up on Monday. In the Eastern Conference Finals, the Celtics take on the Cavs on Sunday. It's the matchup we all wanted to see heading into the season, but it's not quite the same. Now, it was supposed to be Kyrie Irving versus LeBron James, but Irving is out for the year with a knee injury. Two former teammates who won the title together just 2 years ago is a great storyline. Kyrie suddenly asked to be traded before this season. Now, a lot of people were pointing the finger at LeBron James, but the man who was the Cavs GM at the time says it was actually Kyrie just wanting to be the number one guy. He didn't want to live in LeBron's shadow out in Cleveland. Rookie Jason Tatum is going to be one of many Celtics trying to contain LeBron. 6 years ago, though, all he wanted was a follow back on Twitter. Now, check this out. This is from Tatum's feed back in 2012. The Duke product posted that picture with King James while he was playing with the Heat. Tatum is having a fantastic season. He might finish third for Rookie of the Year behind Donovan Mitchell and Ben Simmons. But it just goes to show you just how fast time flies. Hey, the Jets beat the Predators 5-1 last night. So next up, it's Winnipeg versus Vegas. And that's all the time we have for hockey. Sorry, guys. Hey, you hear people calling Tom Brady the GOAT all the time. Well, first of all, they're delusional.
Hater.
For those who don't know, it's an acronym for greatest of all time, which obviously does not apply here. Brady is not even the GOAT in his own city. Nick Foles is. Yes, that Nick Foles. Now, making good on a bet, Boston's Franklin Park Zoo named this Nigerian dwarf goat after Philadelphia's Super Bowl winning quarterback. Isn't that cute? Yeah, and he's not wearing that horrible jacket that Tom Brady was wearing.
Wasn't that bad?
Since we made fun of Tom Brady the other day, we should also make fun of Phil Mickelson. He's making his own fashion statement. Long sleeve dress shirt on the golf course. It is 80-something degree weather out there. Shot an 8 over yesterday. He's 1 over at last check, so he is not doing well out there in the golf course.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's going to church after.
Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe he just wanted to make sure.
Drop the tie. He's going to throw the jacket on afterwards.
Maybe he was filming one of those drug commercials afterwards.
Just not normal attire you see out there.
No, you don't usually
see
that.
Hot.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. Let's head out to the roads. We got a new crash in Pearl City near Blaisdell Park. This is on Kamehameha Highway heading westbound near Ka'ahumanu Street. You can see it blocking that right lane. We've already got HPD responding. You're still able to pass using that left lane, so it's not causing any major slowdowns in that westbound direction. However, if you did want to use Moanalua Road or even the H1 heading westbound, traffic flow on both routes moving at a light pace. Now heading townbound, traffic flow also cleared out from Kunia through the merge. Town spots improving here at the Middle Street merge. It's still going to be tough to get out to Punahou, so Nimitz, Dillingham, or King will be better alternates. To the east side, picked up through Kaimuki, little heavy fronting UH Manoa. You may want to drop down to Kapi'olani Boulevard. And across the Ko'olau, better movement on Pali. We're slowing after Jack Lane. However, clear on Like and the H3 freeway. That's your traffic. Let's check on your weather now with Dan.
Oh, Steve, this reminds me of this photo. Leave LeBron alone, okay? Will you?
I didn't go after LeBron.
Yeah, not today, but you have plenty of times. There's some very light winds today. We're going to see some volcanic haze. There's no doubt about it. It's already kind of out there. You're maybe feeling it in your chest. But the southeast flow will happen throughout the day today, probably overnight. Trades do return tomorrow, and that's what's going to scrub that fog from our sky. They'll get breezy on Sunday, and the trade should stay with us, it looks like, through much of next week. So some beautiful trade wind weather on the way. Hot and sticky today. It's going to be 85 with a high dew point and a lot of that fogginess. So just buckle up, be prepared, and let's wait for those trade winds this weekend. Steve, back to you.
And how about we leave the bad jokes to me? Hey, FEMA has denied the state's request for federal assistance to help Kauai and Oahu residents with flood damage. Governor Ige's office says the state initially found 117 homes were destroyed or damaged, but FEMA's unofficial threshold to qualify for the individual assistance program is 173. The governor plans to appeal.
I certainly was surprised. You know, we have been working with FEMA all the way through the process. We thought that we had put together a good package to justify it. We will continue to fight for federal aid, and hopefully we believe that we'll get a response back relatively quickly.
You know, we do have the declaration from the president right now. We have the funding from the state. We have other resources. So we're really looking internally right now, evaluating everything, doing more assessments. We'll find a way, but it's going to happen.
Governor Ige also signed into law Act 12, which puts $125 million in state funding towards fixing roads, bridges, and county parks damaged by the flooding. Now, today is the last day to dump waste and flood debris in bins in Vaioli Park, Vaila'au Road, and Aloha Place. Today is also the last day for bulky item disposal and extended hours at the Hanalei Refuse Transfer Station. Hours return to 7:15 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. tomorrow. For Wainiha and Haena residents, household trash pickup moves to Sundays starting just this weekend. Good morning, Billy.
Thank you very much, Steve. 7:53 right now. The Susan G. Komen 2018 Race for the Cure. Now, it's coming up later this year in October, but you can register now and save some money. Kat Young is the race chairperson. Liana Zamora is a supporter of the race, but she's also a breast cancer survivor. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Kat, I'll start with you. So there is a Mother's Day launch. Kind of explain this.
Absolutely. We launch on Mother's Day every year for registration. We want to celebrate our moms that have maybe suffered through breast cancer and are survivors, or honor them. So we always launch Mother's Day, and this weekend it's going to be the lowest price ever to register for the race.
How much is that?
Absolutely. It's $10 off across the board, all registration fees. So that's $20 for adults and only $5 for keiki. So you can come out as a family and celebrate with your family on race day.
Okay, now there's different places where you can do this, and there's something called Orange Theory?
There is Orange Theory. We are partnering with Orange Theory Fitness, and they're hosting some registration events for us, and which is a wonderful support to get more people involved and give them the opportunity to register this weekend. And next weekend, they're going to have an event on May 19th, and you still get the discount on registration fees. So go to Orange Theory Fitness, and that's the Kapiolani location.
Okay. Liana, give us a little bit of your personal experience with the race and your journey.
Okay, well, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in July of 2015. And I decided then that, you know, I mean, nobody wants to hear that they have cancer, but I want to do something positive and turn this around for me. I got involved with the race. I had heard about Susan G. Komen for years, but I didn't really know anything. I didn't have any experience with them. So I signed up a month after my treatment was over. I did the race, dressed up, got really goofy, and did it with a bunch of my girlfriends. And
that was therapeutic for you too, though.
Oh, it was very therapeutic, and it was just such a great bond. I mean, being there, the excitement, the energy, being with all these other survivors. I mean, it was just such an unbelievable experience for me that I decided that I would do it every year as much as I could. If I was here, you know, I'm going to support the race because it's so dear.
Let's give you information so that you make sure that you can. Let's give you registration information right now. And there it is. Registration events are at Kahala Mall. That's today and tomorrow. So don't wait. Even though it kicks off on Sunday, you can actually go out there today and tomorrow. And then also give you some overall information. Once again, if you need more, there's a website?
Absolutely, KomenHawaii.org.
Okay, there you go. We got more for you. We'll put this interview online at HawaiiNewsNow.com after sunrise is done. We'll be right back. Don't go. I was not
The other thing that has been happening throughout this time is that the lava lake here at the summit has continued to drain or drop in elevation at a very steady rate. This morning, we put out another public statement noting that as the lava lake reduces in elevation and recedes to within the volcano, there is concern about the eventual intersection of that lava column with the level of the groundwater table below Kilauea's summit. At that time, it is permissive that water will flush into the system of hot rocks that are remained, and we may move into a period of repeated phreatic explosions or steam-driven explosions. This is behavior that it was observed at the volcano during a similar drawdown of a lava lake in 1924. So this public notice that went out this morning was to call attention to that concern and say something about the uncertainties about that process and also the hazards that could be associated with that process, which include far downwind ashfall and near-field ballistic blocks that can be flung out during these explosions. Within an hour or so of putting out that notice, we did have a fairly large explosion from within the evacuated vent or lava column that has been drawing down now for more than a week. And we think, based on field observations that were done immediately, that what happened is there was a small earthquake nearby. It may have prompted a large rock fall deep down into the crater that then prompted an explosion from the remaining lava lake surface. And that's based on looking at the characteristics of the characteristics of the tephra that came out and fell around the rim of the crater. So I think it's our best estimation that this is the first of perhaps more events like that to come. And I think the question that a lot of people want to know is what's next. For the time being, it's too soon to say that we're going to see any cessation of activity in the Lower East Rift Zone, even though there may be a pause. There's still a fair bit of magma right underground that's available to erupt. And based on historic activity in the Lower East Rift, that's certainly possible. And here at the summit, as I said, the prognosis is if the lava column continues to recede, we may move into a period of these steam-driven explosions.
Oh.
But first, we want to go to our Mahealani Richardson. She's live tonight in Pahoa with how lawmakers are trying to find housing options for those left homeless. Mahea.
That's right, Steph and Sean. I'm at this community meeting right now at Pahoa High, where the community will once again be able to ask questions of county officials. Now, earlier today, lawmakers took a tour of the lava zone, and they also learned that some of the evacuees staying in shelters are being bused to other areas just so they could take a hot shower.
Hundreds of people are living in shelters, but because the lava event is not over yet, lawmakers and officials are worried about the 50,000 people who are living in the East Rift Zone from Pahala to the ocean off Kapoho. Today, lawmakers toured the lava inundation zone in Leilani Estates and Lanipuna Gardens.
It's traumatic. Really, the trauma could be felt at the evacuation centers.
Representative Joy San Buenaventura represents Puna and talked about trying to stem the housing crisis for lava evacuees who don't know if and when they'll be able to go home.
You could see these people, the people in Leilani Estates, as I was telling them, are people who are not used to being homeless.
Some evacuation shelters don't have shower facilities, so lawmakers are trying to figure out how to use Hale Aloha o Puna, a federal public housing facility, for at least a place for evacuees to take a hot shower.
So I think right now the option really is to provide some type of a temporary arrangement where they could provide shower use and restroom.
People living in the shelters and camping out in the surrounding areas are doing the best they can with what little they have.
It's kind of challenging to live with a bunch of people and dogs, and everybody's kind of on edge.
Lawmakers also spoke to state and county officials about providing temporary access to homes that are now safe and the possibility of a special session to discuss funding for the disaster.
If that's what we need to do to help the residents of the Big Island, we all stand ready to assist.
Back here live in Pahoa, we just got a text from the National Guard that says the sulfur dioxide levels in Leilani Estates are very high right now, so they have stopped all activity in that area. Reporting live from Pahoa, I'm Mahealani Richardson, Hawaii News Now.
We are tracking two developing situations on the Big Island tonight. At Halima'uma'u Crater, a giant plume shot up at Hawaii Volcano's National Park. The big concern that the lava lake could drop below the water table, setting off an explosive eruption.
And at Leilani Estates and Lanipuna Gardens, another fissure opens as a line of eruptions gets closer to the Puna geothermal venture. That fissure caused more emergency evacuations in the area. This is on the south side of Poho'iki Road and Leilani Avenue.
Yeah, it's in the same area where a water main ruptured. It's actually less than a mile away from the Puna geothermal venture plant. Hawaii County Civil Defense says the eruptions have left at least 9 roads impassable.
Highway 130 between Malama Street and Kama'ili Road and Poho'iki Road between Highway 132 and Hinalo Street are closed. We've also learned that the Hawaii National Guard is beefing up patrols in Leilani Estates. Residents there are worried about looting. At least one person was arrested accused of burglarizing a home that had been evacuated.
We have team coverage tonight of the story, and we begin with Mileka Lincoln for the very latest on the eruptions. Mileka.
Aloha, Sean. Yes, Hawaii County Civil Defense Agency officials confirmed a 15th fissure had developed on the south side of Poho'iki Road and Leilani Avenue just after 1 o'clock this afternoon. Now, what we are waiting to hear from civil defense officials is exactly how fast that flow front is moving. And because we have not been provided with that information yet, it's unclear exactly where it is right now. But again, that fissure, we are told, was heading east, and that is in the direction of the Puna Geothermal Venture plant. And that, of course, is a major concern for residents who are aware of the 60,000 gallons of pentane which are being stored on that plant property, a highly flammable liquid that is stored on site. Some families who live within a mile of that PGV property radius say they aren't taking any chances and have volunteered to evacuate because of rising concerns about their safety, which which they say has been escalated by a lack of information.
That's scary. When everybody that you talk to who knows someone who works at PGV says they're not being told anything. Everything seems to be going on under the cover of secrecy, a lack of clarity. Even on PGV's website this morning, there's no update at all. They don't even acknowledge what's going on.
Now, we were at Highway 130 and Pahoa Road when we saw a truck which sources tell us was transporting pentane away from the PGV property this afternoon. Civil Defense Administrator Talmadge Magno says crews would be relocating 12,000 gallons of pentane to Shipman Industrial in Kilauea today. But we have heard from sources who say at this point approximately 30,000 gallons of pentane have already been moved off the site, and that the remaining pentane would be evacuated in the next 10 to 12 hours. I also spoke with hazmat sources who say pentane's chemical characteristics are rather similar to gasoline, including their flammable range. From a fire standpoint, that means the hazards would be similar in terms of how gasoline burns. Pentane's potential threat, I'm told, would be dependent on what kind of container it's being stored in. If it can vent and burn, then even if crews weren't able to move it from the PGV site before the lava flow reaches it, it would simply create, I'm told, a big fireball if ignited, not an explosion similar to a bomb. And again, that's because I'm told it has the same chemical composition as gasoline. Now, I'm also cautioned that this would be a different story if for some reason the pentane is being stored in a pressurized container. Hazmat experts say a reference they're using to determine the potential threat is the DOT's emergency response guide. Now, neither pentane nor gasoline have requirements within that response guide that mandate an evacuation or response zone. In other words, the hazard is not as severe as other chemicals, meaning there is not a required isolation zone. However, in an abundance of caution, Hawaii County Civil Defense Administrator Magno says they are telling folks that that radius is going to be just outside of the 1 mile that they can tell people they believe is safe. Of course, this situation is continuing to develop, and we will bring you the very latest as it does. Reporting live here in Pahoa, Milaka Lincoln, Hawaii News Now.
All right, thank you very much.